Have you ever wondered what it took to create the most feared warriors of the ancient world? Today, we're journeying back to ancient Sparta, a society obsessed with one thing: creating the perfect soldier. But this obsession came at a terrifying cost, involving practices so ruthless they're hard to imagine. This is the brutal truth behind Sparta's quest for perfection. Sparta wasn't just a city-state, it was a military machine. And the first gear in this machine turned the moment a child was born. Imagine this: a newborn, just moments old, isn't cradled by loving parents. Instead, it's taken before a council of elders at a place called the Lesh. Here, the infant was meticulously inspected. Was it strong? Did it look healthy? Was it free from any blemish or perceived weakness? If the baby didn't meet their harsh standards, its fate was sealed. The elders would order the infant to be left at the apothecary, a chasm at the foot of Mount Tagetas, a practice known as infant exposure. To the Spartans, a child who couldn't contribute to the state's military might was a life not worth living. Only the strongest were allowed to survive this first, most brutal test. For the boys who passed this initial inspection, life was anything but easy. At the tender age of 7, they were ripped from their families and plunged into the infamous Spartan education and training program. This wasn't school as we know it. This was a 30-year-long boot camp designed to systematically break down the individual and forge a hardened, unthinking warrior loyal only to Sparta. The boys were kept perpetually underfed, encouraging them to steal food. If they were caught, they were flogged not for stealing, but for their incompetence in getting caught. This taught them cunning, stealth, and resilience. They lived in barracks, slept on hard beds made of reeds they had to cut themselves, and were often barefoot, regardless of the weather. The training was relentless. They learned to fight, to endure pain without complaint, and to kill without hesitation. Older boys were encouraged to bully and test the younger ones, creating a constant state of competition and hardening them emotionally. The agoge was a crucible designed to burn away all softness, all individuality, leaving only the pure, cold steel of a Spartan hoplite. It was a system that valued the collective over the individual, turning boys into components of an unstoppable army. But Sparta's quest for perfection began even before birth. They practiced a form of state-sponsored eugenics, carefully managing reproduction to produce the strongest possible offspring. Marriage in Sparta wasn't about love or romance. It was a duty to the state. Men were expected to marry around the age of 30, and women around 18 to 20. The goal was to pair individuals in their physical prime to maximize the chances of having healthy, robust children. Spartan women were unique in the Greek world. They were encouraged to be physically fit, participating in athletic competitions to ensure they were strong enough to bear strong children. The state's control over reproduction was absolute and went to shocking lengths. If a man was too old or deemed unfit to produce strong heirs with his wife, it was not only acceptable but encouraged for another, younger, stronger Spartan to father a child with her. The child would still be considered the husband's legal heir. The focus was entirely on the quality of the stock. To the Spartans, children were not a private family matter. They were the future assets of the state, and every measure was taken to ensure those assets were of the highest possible quality. T's clinical, detached approach to creating life highlights the extreme nature of their society. So, what was the ultimate price of this relentless pursuit of perfection? Sparta certainly achieved its goal. For centuries, the Spartan army was the most dominant land force in ancient Greece. Their discipline and skill in battle were legendary. When a line of Spartan hoplites stood on the battlefield, their crimson cloaks and bronze shields gleaming, they struck fear into the hearts of their enemies. They were the ultimate warriors, the product of a system that prioritized military strength above all else. However, this brutal system was also Sparta's undoing. The constant culling of infants, the unforgiving nature of the agoge, and the ravages of near-constant warfare meant that the number of pure-blooded Spartan citizens, the Spartiates, was in a state of perpetual decline. By focusing so single-mindedly on creating perfect warriors, they failed to create enough of them to sustain their society. They became victims of their own success. The very system designed to ensure Sparta's dominance ultimately led to its downfall. As their population dwindled to a point where they could no longer field a powerful army, Sparta became a hollowed-out shell, a ghost of its former glory, a stark reminder that the pursuit of perfection when taken to such a brutal extreme, can lead to self-destruction. Their story serves as a timeless and cautionary tale about the true cost of sacrificing humanity for the sake of strength. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the harsh world of ancient Sparta. If you found this journey into the past fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories from history. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.